I thank the gentleman for yielding.
Mr. Bishop is now recognized for 5 minutes.
And I thank the chairman and the members for permitting me to participate in this important hearing. Mr. Brown, of course, I guess this is a hearing called by the majority, and we're engaged in congressional oversight, I guess. I just wonder, I counted as I came in, it was important enough to me to come here, and when I arrived, there were about 11 members of Congress sitting here. We have committee staff here. Why are you not here, sir?
When I was asked to participate, I was asked to participate remotely, and which was great for me being out here in Seattle. So that was the invitation that I received, Congressman.
So that was a specific request from the staff for the majority that contacted you to arrange for your participation today? Or did it come from higher in the Justice Department?
When the department asked me if I would participate, they explained to me that I could participate virtually. So that was the information that I had.
Who in the department communicated that to you, sir?
The invitation for me came from EOUSA, which is the Executive Office of United States Attorneys, which is the main coordination that we have with the Department of Justice, main justice components.
Or do you know of a name of an individual that made that request or suggested to you that you appear remotely?
The specific invitation came from the Deputy Director of EOUSA.
All right. Let me take you back to the question Mr. Jordan asked you about the meeting that you convened pursuant to Attorney General Garland's memo about school board protests or threats. You indicated that there was a meeting you thought like in November following the issuance of that memo, I think. Summarize the content of the meeting. What was discussed?
Sure, Congressman. We had a meeting with partners from the federal government law enforcement agencies, principally the FBI, with our State Patrol agency and leadership from the Association of Washington Sheriffs and Police Chiefs. And we talked about ways that we could be a resource for them, much like we would be a resource in any other local law enforcement need, and just made available for them or made them aware that we were here to help if they had any incidences that deserved federal resources or federal attention. And that was essentially the extent of our meeting.
Wow. So did your office gather or have any evidence or information about some proliferation of threats to school boards to share? Or because you didn't mention that in relating what you said. Did you gather that kind of information?
We convened the meeting in response to the Attorney General's request that we convene such a meeting and talked about the resources we could provide, much like we would in any other issue partnering with local law enforcement.
So again, what the Attorney General indicated was there were this proliferation of threats that warranted this nationwide action by the Department of Justice. And so I think you did not have your office gather any information, and you're not aware of any specific information about a proliferation of threats. Is that correct?
I did not gather information about threats in my district. The letter came a few days before I was actually sworn into office, so I did not gather information in response to the AG's memorandum.
Did any participant in the meeting impart any information or evidence about a proliferation of threats that would support a nationwide scope of action?
There were some conversations in our meeting of officers hearing about some small anecdotal stories of threats at school boards, but nothing that would arose to needing federal assistance or federal prosecution.
Yeah, that's certainly consistent with my understanding as well, and it's important for the nation to know in light of the politicized action by the Attorney General.